this moment, while the soldiers were idly passing the time, one of them suddenly noticed something unusual. A local was secretly recording their guard post with a new model smartphone. It wasn't until the soldier tried to catch him that the local realized something was wrong. He immediately broke free from the hand that grabbed him and quickly ran away, with the soldier giving chase right after. Just as the local was about to escape from sight, he was pinned down by a teammate waiting at the corner. After a quick search of the local, they found the phone he had used to secretly take pictures, and the photos inside clearly showed the layout of the guard post. Noticing the watch on the local's wrist, they realized he had already been bought off by the Taliban, so they tied him up at the camp to await further action. Soon the local returned with a group of villagers and demanded to know why his people were being detained. The newly appointed officer didn't want to cause trouble, and just wanted to get through his posting peacefully, so he told them that once the investigation was complete, the man would be released and that they wouldn't act recklessly. With this assurance, the locals quickly left. A subordinate then asked the officer why they didn't arrest them. The officer replied that one must cherish peace. The soldier was left speechless. That night, a soldier brought an informant to see the officer. He told the officer that the locals, upset because they hadn't received the promised 500,000 manats, were already in contact with the Taliban, and that the Taliban would soon launch a surprise attack on the outpost. The officer asked about the time and the number of attackers, but the informant hesitated and only said there would be a lot of people. As soon as the officer heard this, he felt it was a lie, so he told them to leave. The next day, while the officer was leading his team on a routine patrol, a landmine suddenly exploded as they crossed a suspension bridge. Special Forces job. The soldier behind was covered in blood, while the new officer leading the way was already dead. That night, headquarters sent another new officer, but as soon as he arrived, he just said a few words and went straight into his office, leaving the soldiers who came to greet him at a loss. The next day, the officer gathered everyone and informed them that the outpost would be closed in July, and then everyone could go home. Even more outrageous, after a few days he had the team members take out his trash for him, not even stepping outside the door himself, leaving the team members utterly astonished. Perhaps word of their upcoming withdrawal had leaked, because some locals showed up with a corpse, claiming it had been killed during one of their patrols, and demanded compensation from the soldiers. The officer, thinking it was better to avoid trouble, agreed to their demands, but unexpectedly, another person stepped forward, claiming he had been bitten by their dog. The officer drew his pistol, ignored the arguing crowd, and shot the patrol dog on the spot. He then instructed his subordinates to pay the locals even more compensation. This left the soldiers completely bewildered, wondering when they had ever been so humiliated before. Because of this, they could only try to boost their own morale. At that moment, the officer came to them and said he had already been dismissed from his post. In a week, a new commander would arrive to take over, and in the meantime, the deputy commander would temporarily supervise. The next day, an informant suddenly rushed breathlessly into the outpost, shouting that the Taliban were coming. The villagers had all fled, and hundreds of Taliban fighters were on their way. Just as they were dismissing it, a scout, on a whim, picked up his binoculars and looked in the direction the informant had indicated. The entire hillside was covered with Taliban fighters, and the other side was the same. The soldier thought he was seeing things from lack of sleep, so he picked up the binoculars again to double-check.